Okay, so welcome everyone and to this session from School of Excellence. And I would like to be finding out from each one of you who is present on today's session, when you first saw this topic, what came to your mind? And if you could share it on the chat box, I would really appreciate. What were the thoughts when you read this topic? And what made you join us today in this session? Okay, Dilip says rewinding. Great. रिवाइंडिंग वो जैसे दिलीप मशीनरी की होती है रिवाइंडिंग या फैन की रिवाइंडिंग आप वैसा तो नहीं सोच के आए हो ओके जेनिफर इंट्रीगिंग Jigna, I think I really need to rewrite my career. Okay. Wow. A lot of expectations. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts and their intentions of being present and joining us here today, this afternoon? No one else? I think I have several more people online, but okay. Since I'm not getting any more answers, then I think maybe there are those who would like to go with the flow. Gaurav, innovate something new, thinking out of the box during this tough time. Okay. So let's take it forward and let's see how much we can really deliver to everyone in different aspects. And I think it's a 1-hour session. And at the end of it, I will leave it to the open forum. And I have somebody, Shivam, saying, I'm not aware of it all. It's a very new topic for me. Pavitra, this time is giving me to rewind my goals. And Bharat says, doing something innovative. Okay, so a mixture of reasons have brought you here. Whatever the reason may be, firstly, this is Jaya, your facilitator for today afternoon, and I will be taking you through, I hope, an interesting session. And you all can grade me at the end of the session and share your feedback if I've been able to live up to those and deliver something that you're looking for. However, just create your own blueprint to rewrite your story is, I think, the clutch line. And let me handhold you through the first few initial slides. And as we go slide by slide, I'm sure you'll start getting a hang of exactly where am I trying to take and lead you all into. This is a very self-improvement kind of a program. We often say we want to do this, but then we find something stopping us. A lot of people have a habit of procrastinating. करूं कैसे करूं? अच्छा ये करना है, ऐसे करूं या वैसे करूं? फिर हम 5 लोगों से पूछेंगे. And therefore this hesitancy, this procrastination, this questioning ourselves, the self-doubt, काम करेगा नहीं करेगा, and all those kind of notions that keep troubling our minds is what I'm trying to work out, a simple 5 steps which will help you reach out of these problems, if I can call these problems, or reach out of these zones and come into a new zone. So it's like literally physically shifting yourself from where you are into a new zone. And with that, I take you on to my first slide. Once again, welcome. Thank you, Global Association for Corporate Service. Thank you for supporting me, and let's go ahead. So it all started here. And this is the story by Kurt Vonnegut. I had caught life. I have come down with life. I was a wisp of undifferentiated nothingness. And then a little peephole opened. quite suddenly, light and sound poured in. Voices began to describe me and my surroundings. Nothing they said could be appealed. They said I was a boy named Rudolph Waltz, and that was that. They said the year was 1932, and that was that. They said I was in Midland City, Ohio, and that was that. They said I would grow to be like my father, and that was that. They just never shut up. Year after year, every little incident, they piled detail upon detail. They do it still. And you know what they say now? They say the year is 1982 and that I am 50 years old. Blah, blah, blah. And that was that. So why do you think I've begun my session with this, and how are you able to relate to this? If you can share in a one brief sentence on the chat box. It would be interesting to find your first perceptions now. Does it sound familiar? Maybe a yes or no. Okay. Time flies. Not familiar. Okay. Excellent, Sharath. People will have opinions. It does not matter. Absolutely, Dilip. We do believe it does not matter, but then are we sure that it is not affecting or influencing us sometimes? Time doesn't stop for anyone. Absolutely. Gaurav, not much. But have we all experienced this? You are compared with elders in your surroundings. Absolutely. Elders or elder siblings. Yes. Okay. Right. So I think different answers and different opinions, but we all agree upon one thing, that we have all heard this. We may not respond to it, we may not react to it, but this is something that sounds familiar to a lot of us, especially in Indian families, right? And therefore, there are these thousands of voices within us that we grow up with, you know, follow, ऐसा करो, वैसा मत करो, यहाँ बैठो, वहाँ मत जाओ, इतने बजे आ जाना, यहाँ मत जाना, उसके साथ मत बात करना, are you doing it this way? Are you focusing on your studies? What do you want to be? I want you to grow up like this. What are you planning to do after your 10th? Instructions after instructions, guidelines after guidelines, and enough information that can literally flood a child. I have somebody saying something, let me just check. Society kya sochegi? Yes, absolutely. Society kya sochegi? दूसरे क्या सोच रहे हैं, दूसरे क्या बोलेंगे? We are all caught up in a lot of things. So do you agree that there are several voices going on in our brain? हमारी ही सही, लेकिन हमारी भी 10 आवाजें. Yes or a no on a chat box would be excellent. Totally agree. Okay. Any other responses coming up? Yes. Okay. Yes, agreed. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being a very prompt, responsive audience. Lovely. छोटा ही सही, लेकिन वासुदेव कुटुंब जिसको कहते हैं ना. So let's make this a very productive session. Correct. Agreed. Great. So with everybody agreeing upon this, have you all ever felt that your life then becomes like a snakes and ladder? चढ़ रहे थे और एकदम से किसी ने कुछ कह दिया और एकदम जीरो पे आ गए वापस. And then you sit waiting for that 6 to start your journey all over again. Do you relate to it several times in your life? Every time, most of the time. Wow. Yes, we experience it again and again. Okay. But had you all ever related it to a game of snakes and ladder? Or did you just take it as, यार life तो ऐसे googlies फेंकती ही है, चलो कोई नहीं, कुछ लोग उठ जाते हैं गिर के, कुछ लोग नहीं उठ पाते हैं, and then you have all kinds of, yes, absolutely, blame the fate, destiny. यार हमारी किस्मत में ही नहीं है, उसका तो देखो, उसकी तो चल पड़ी है. It seems that it is based on life. Yes, absolutely. You want to do something and there is a sudden suggestion and you have to rethink the entire thing. So true, Gaurav. Absolutely. कितनी बार मेरे साथ भी हुआ है ये कि we were very sure कि आज यही करना है, ऐसे ही करना है, and then you hear something or you read something maybe on LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere, and then you start, your entire machinery starts rethinking again. Yeah, am I doing the right thing? Do you think this is going to work? Are people going to listen to me or not? And we start questioning every damn thing that we had thought about, and we thought we had a great blueprint, foolproof plan, and there goes it down the drain. It happens both in personal and official front. Absolutely, Kirti, I totally agree. And we cannot, हमारी एक आदत हो गई है, हम लोग लाइफ को बॉक्स करने लगे हैं बहुत ज्यादा. पर्सनल लाइफ में तो ऐसा होगा, फ्रेंड्स के साथ ऐसा होगा, पेरेंट्स के साथ ये है व्यवहार हमारा, ऐसा हम करेंगे, एंड ऑफिशियली तो कुछ और ही होती है कहानी. So I think this boxing of life that we have created has complicated life for us even more. Yes, and therefore with that I take you to my next slide and let's see what we have. So we all grow up with certain belief systems. And I think the belief system comes from a certain stage of life. So if you all have some paper or pen or pencil in your hands and with you, and if you don't have also, it's okay. I want you to go back to your childhood, right? Maybe let's say when you were in the 3rd or the 4th standard. Is everyone with me? And I would like you to consider, think back, flashback mode में जाइए, थोड़ा slow flashback mode, and then pause once you reach the 3rd and 4th standard. Yes, when you were approximately maybe 8, 9, max 10 years old. What is that one word or what is that one sentence that you have been hearing in your childhood till you reached an age of 10, 11? There is something that we kept hearing. Can you all recollect? And can you just give it some thought? And maybe just make a mental note of it or write it down on the paper next to you. And once you've done this, just maybe raise your hand or give me a thumbs up sign. Or just put a yes in the chat box. Whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? Okay. So I have a few yeses coming in, and I believe that means that everybody does have this one phrase or one word that they were listening to all the time, maybe from their parents, maybe from their peer group, friends, relatives, society, the immediate inner circle that surrounds us as a child. Yes? Okay. So I'm presuming that a lot of people have got this word or a group of words. I know this is a very personal thing and could be positive and could be negative. It could be either. I haven't specified. Would anyone like to share? Okay, Gaurav has already come up with something. Gaurav, would you mind if I share what you've written over there? Because you've shared it with me privately. Would somebody like to share it openly? And if no one is there, then I'll go on stage with mine. Okay, please do. Okay, so I've got Gaurav's permission. And thank you so much. Appreciate, because these are some things which are very personal. And therefore, it's just right that I take your permission. So गौरव के लिए था नहीं, this is not right, ऐसा करो मत, right? And I have some other people saying words like maybe lazy, maybe तेरे से तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Someone's even said sincere. Someone's even said you're very kind and introvert, right? Now I want you to just come back to the present moment and think about how is this word still affecting your actions, your behavior? Are you still trying to prove something to yourself and to the world? Either there are only two things that can happen. One is that I become extra sincere, or the other is I go the opposite of sincere and I become a nikamma. मुझे नहीं करना है. I don't want to be sincere. I've got fed up of being sincere. So I go on the other side of the needle. नहीं, this is not right. सारा time नहीं जो सुनता है ना, how do you think it's affecting your actions today? And this is something that I want you all to think about. And just in the chat box, tell me, is this word or group of words still affecting your life? A yes or a no? You may not even agree with me, and that's fine also. There is nothing right or wrong in this, but there are several things, and you can reply to me in private also. You do not have to share with everyone. Yes? Wonderful. I'm waiting for some more answers. And while I'm waiting for some more answers about whether this word or group of words that you have highlighted as being, a constant thing in your childhood is somehow still trying to affect and rule your life. Absolutely. I agree with whoever's sharing. And Gaurav has gone ahead and shared with everyone, and that deserves a clap, Gaurav, because it's not easy. I appreciate it from my heart. It has helped me to learn to make that nahi into ha. You are right today. Exactly. So you went on the opposite side of that needle, Gaurav. And, rightfully and brightfully, it has worked for you in the right way. But there are many who get affected and go on the negative side of the needle, and therefore it plays tantrums with our life. I'll give you my own personal story here. And as a child, I was very, very weak and a small built child. And when I say weak, I meant I used to fall sick quite often. Nothing much, general सर्दी जुकाम खांसी बुखार any little thing and I would fall. मतलब यहाँ तक कि महीने में 2 बार कम से कम बीमार पड़ना ही होता था. And therefore I started hearing my parents saying ये बड़ी कमजोर है, she's very weak. Of course they meant physically, never emotionally, However, that weak word stuck with me. And even today, I think sometimes my actions are that I am trying to still prove to the world, and more than the world, to prove to myself, I can take care of myself. I'm strong enough. But do I really need to prove to anybody? Do you need to prove to anybody? And I think everyone's answer to this is going to be a no, right? So this is how we look in reality, we're made up of a lot of beliefs, a lot of knowledge, a lot of stories, a lot of skills. बहुत सारी कहानियां दूसरे लोगों की सुनी, वो भी हम अपने में घुसा लेते हैं. We are connected to our roots, तो कुछ traditions, कुछ parents की जो expectations हैं, वो बहुत सारी चीजें. So this is what we look like in reality. And with this, I come to my next exercise. And what do you see next to what we look like? You see a figure. right? What is that figure? What do you read it as, or what do you see it as? Anyone? You can just put on your mic or put it in the chat box also. I'm okay with that. What do you see next to the image? Can everyone see my screen? Yes? Okay. So you can see an I, right? Now, हमारा हर सेंटेंस करीब करीब I के साथ स्टार्ट होता है, and therefore Sharad, yes, it reflects our attitude. Absolutely right. In this I would like you to now think of, and I'm giving you 30 seconds, and I'm sitting with my timer on. I'm giving you 30 seconds, and I want you to write as many descriptive words that describe you today. And your time starts now. As many words that can describe you, please jot down on your pen and paper, which is next to you. Your time has begun. You have 20 seconds. 15. 5. Okay, stop. Everyone, please stop. Yes. How many people? Okay, I have everyone sharing it. Very nice. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. Now, something to think upon and ponder upon. हम ये जो इतना I के साथ हम हर सेंटेंस की शुरुआत करते हैं, I am like this, I believe this, I love doing this, I am this. When I actually gave you 30 seconds, the maximum that I see somebody has written is 6 words. Is that what you sum yourself up as? And do you really need time to think about who you are today? So if I were to ask you, who are you today? You know, and don't give me your name, because वो भी आपका अपना नहीं है, वो आपके parents ने आपको दिया था. Don't tell me you're a man or a woman or a child, because that is default भगवान का दिया हुआ. Don't tell me what you're doing, because that's a role you are performing. And again, those who've gone into a profession by choice, fortunate you are, and God be with you. And those who are default into a profession, God help us. But really think upon it and ponder upon it, that how much time do we need to connect with ourselves and know ourselves? How much do you really know about yourself? So when I say know yourself, the moment I say 30 seconds, I expected at least 10 characteristics. And when I say characteristics, it's a feature. So supposing I was to ask somebody who has an iPhone, are you happy with your iPhone? Can you give me the good points about your iPhone? And there I would get 7, 8, 9. Iska camera aisa hai, iska RAM aisa hai. It's very safe. Its privacy is great. It's sleek. It's nice. It's a brand name. I love to carry it. And I'll get an unendless list. But when I ask you, who are you? The maximum I received from somebody was 6 points. So this brings me to, how well do we really connect with ourselves, and how well do we really know who I am and who I want to be? And again, I take you back to the thing that, are you still getting influenced by some voices, right? And though we said it doesn't make a difference, it's time to rethink that and give it some thought, that are you really familiar with yourself, right? And here, to get to know ourselves, you know, why fit in when you can stand out? I'm just going to share a video, and let's watch it, and then we'll come back. and it's just observations. I'm going to ask you something after watching this video, and we can have a short discussion on this, right? So here we go. All eyes on the screen.
Once upon a time, a springtime.
Oops, sorry. Okay, let me get back. And a very simple question. Do we all relate to this video at some point of our lives in the past? Do we relate to it in some way? And what is the message? For everyone, the message could be different. Would you like to share? Okay, Jennifer, awesome story. Yes. And I think role changing. Yes. So Jennifer, I think, I love cartoons, and I think any Walt Disney cartoon has so many messages. It's the best way to sort of get comfortable and talk about anything to children and even adults for that matter. I use so many of these for my sessions, and every time the message is very clear and delivered. For me, I have to be overcome. We always try to fit in, role changing, self belief. You need to listen to yourself, absolutely. Be the original yourself, true, very, very true. And with that, I will now just share a small story. And I think we're all familiar with, the elephant concept. I'm sure you all must have heard, and there's this video that's doing the round on internet about, how a baby elephant is often tied up with a very strong rope, at circuses and wherever these people are at the outer limits of the city. आप देखेंगे कि एक हाथी, छोटे हाथी के बच्चे को भी बहुत मजबूत रस्सी के साथ बांधा जाता है. However, as the elephant grows proportionately in size and strength, the elephant is now much stronger than the rope that is tying it, or even that wooden peg to which that rope is tied. And yet, he or she does not move, right? Where did this belief come from? Is there any logical reason for holding on to it? And I can relate this to the video also shared. The lion grew up amongst and amidst sheep. Where did the belief come from that it couldn't fight the fox? Was there any logical reasoning for holding on to it? Or was it those voices in his head that messed up his whole thought process? And is it limiting ourselves in any way, or is it elevating the quality of your life? So these are some questions that maybe I would like you to just make a brief note about. Again, on that same piece of paper where you've written that one word, the orbit word of your life, which has somehow been ruling your life. And then how do you think it is still affecting? And now we come into, yes, who are you? And what is limiting or elevating the quality of your life, right? And this is where I will narrate you a slightly longer story, which is very much to do with releasing the cows. So when you really get to know who you are, you want some space created inside. So fine, you start releasing those voices and you start removing those voices from your head. You're creating space, you're making space, you're emptying some space to fit in who you think you want to be. However, this is a classic story. There is this monk, एक भिक्षु होता है जिसके 3 disciples होते हैं. And as we all know, the monks travel. They don't have their own home. They travel from village to village, town to town, and they give sermons. They collect more disciples, and they always get and eat whatever is given to them by whichever city or village that they were staying in. So one fine day, these 4 people, one the guru and 3 disciples, were walking through, and they had crossed the village limits, and they realized that it's getting dark and there is a jungle ahead. So they decided not to go further, and they said, let's sort of find some shelter here somewhere around, and let's park ourselves for the night over here. In the distance, they see a small light, and they start walking towards it, hoping that there would be some little house that can shelter them for the night and maybe share some food for the night. So they approach, and as they approach, they see a very dilapidated, broken hut. And outside this hut, they find and see a very undernourished cow tied up. Anyway, they didn't have much choice, so they said, अब यहाँ तक आ गए हैं तो चलो खटखटाते हैं, देखते हैं अपनी किस्मत में क्या है. So they knock on the door, and shortly, a very, again, undernourished, malnourished man who was just wearing a very torn, dirty dhoti opens the door, and you can literally see his rib cage, and he sees these 4 monks at his doorstep, and he welcomes them into his home. And the monks see that in his home, it's just a 1 room, not much furniture except for a small cot in one corner. And there's an equally thin, frail wife sitting at the stove and maybe making some chapatis. And there's a very tiny baby who again looks undernourished. So they say कि हमें सिर्फ रात रुकने के लिए जगह चाहिए. We just want to sleep. And tomorrow morning, as soon as it's like sunrise, we will leave. Just a roof over our heads is what we're looking for. So the man says, no, you are most welcome. हमारे पास जो है, जितना है, जैसा है, आप उसका आनंद ले सकते हैं. I'm sorry, I can't give you much, but this is all I have. So they assure him that they just want to sleep. So since there were 3 chapatis made, this man says, आप लोग 2 ले लीजिए, since you all are 4, हम 1 में manage कर लेंगे. And these monks say, no bhai, sorry, we can't take this from you, we're just going to sleep. So he says, no, I insist, आप मेरे मेहमान हैं, I insist, नहीं तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगेगा. So the monks then accept it humbly, and they have their meal, and all of them fall asleep. The next morning, as a habit, the monks get up very early, and they get up and they have a sort of take some water from the well outside, refresh themselves, and are about to leave when the man of the house gets up and says, you can't leave like that, just give me 5 minutes. And then he goes to this very thin, undernourished cow and milks it. और जो भी दूध निकलता है, he says, I'm sorry, but this is all I can offer you right now. Please accept it and honor my hosting. So the monks feel a little taken aback at this gesture. However, the guru signals to the disciples that no, go ahead, accept it. Accepting the milk, they leave. The man goes back into his house and into his life, and the monks and the disciple leave. And the youngest of the disciple is very restless, and he's sort of urging to ask some questions, and the guru, being the guru, of course, recognizes something is bothering his youngest disciple, and he says, "Kya soch rahe ho?" So the boy turns around and says, "Guruji, aapko to sab pata hi hai. You know what's going on in my mind. You can read me." So he says, "Are you concerned about them?" So he says, "Yes, concerned about them and wondering, how do people live like this? What do they wake up to? What makes them go to sleep, and what do they look forward to the next day?" So the Guruji just smiles and doesn't say anything. And then the disciple says, "Can we not do something for them?" So the Guru turns around and just says one thing: "Will you do what I say?" So the disciple says, "Of course, I cannot disobey you. You know that." So he says, "Then without asking any questions, without raising any expressions, doubts, you will just do and follow my instructions. Go back to the house, untie the cow, and bring it along." For a minute, this disciple is taken aback. And of course, he had already promised not to question, not to react, but he just follows the instruction. He goes back, unties the cow with no one there, and brings it. And they enter the jungle, and somewhere in the thick of the jungle, they just leave the cow and they exit the jungle and carry on with their journey. A year later, they come back and they're returning. And again, the Guruji sees some kind of a restlessness on this youngest disciple of his. And he says, "What are you now thinking about?" And the boy just smiles and says, "Of course, you know, Guruji." And the Guruji says, "Go." Because they had neared that same village again. Says, "Jao, pata lagao. Dekho, kya haal hai unka? Hai bhi ki nahi? Go find out. Satisfy your curiosity." So the boy somehow finds his way and goes nearing that same hut. And to his surprise, he finds not a dilapidated hut, still a hut, but a nice one. It had a proper thatched roof now. And to his surprise of surprise, he had taken that only single cow of his, but now he had two buffaloes. So the first thought that came to this boy's mind is that maybe that family left, went somewhere else, and someone else has come in their place. Very hesitatingly, yet with a little excitement and eagerness, he goes and knocks on the door. And to his utter surprise, the same man opens, a little more well dressed, a little more well fed. The child behind has grown up and is crawling and walking around. The wife is better. There's a little more furniture in that same little room. It's neat and clean, and the baby even has toys to play with. Now, my question to you as an audience now is, what do you think happened? How this turnaround? Please share your responses on the chat box. Has everyone got out of the story mode, or is everyone still in the listening mode? Can I have some raise of hands or some responses coming in, sirs and ma'ams? Okay. What do you think happened that changed and brought about a change in this life of this person? What changed? What happened? The cow that was dropped in the forest comes back strong, gives extra milk, he earns extra, and then progresses in life. Wow, that's a slightly new aspect, and yeah, could be. The cow comes back and becomes strong, having lived a life in the forest and he has to fight for himself. Positivity. Okay. Someone said, please share the story link too for further reference. Sure, I'll share that. No worries. What do you think changed? Anyone else would like to share what changed? What exactly brought about a 360-degree scenario change? Apart from the cow coming back stronger, but then the cow wasn't there. So if somebody was listening to my story carefully, I said the cow wasn't there. Instead, there were 2 buffaloes. No one? The cow gone, he looked for other means. Absolutely, absolutely, Jigna. So I think when you're forced to look, same as in the Walt Disney cartoon that I shared, you know, when the mother is being pulled by the fox, it's an emergency now. And that brings out the best in us. Like we're all seeing even in this COVID-19 situation, you know, we're thinking of ways to occupy ourselves. We're thinking of ways to become better, finding shorter cuts to do the housework. And then every other day, I see some new innovation on LinkedIn or some social media or news. People are coming up with their own innovation of masks. Somebody's invented a truck which can conduct uh, tests, COVID-19 tests without human interaction and touch. So I think crisis brings out the best in us, and absolutely right that what happened in this story was nothing else but the people realized that with the cow gone, which was their only source of dependency, when that was taken away, they were forced to look at other means, and they did find answers. So life always gives you your answers, you know. You're never without an answer. It's only that you have to look around. And are you ready to look, or is something stopping you from even looking? That's what we need to ask ourselves. And with that, I come to, does everyone know who Dashrath Maji was? Has everyone heard of the name? Yes or no? Just on the chat box, a yes or no, a simple yes, no, or a thumbs up. Has anyone heard of the story of Dashrath Maji? There was even a movie made, I think, starring, what was this guy's name? Nawazuddin. Maji was the name of the movie. It's a story about a very poor man who had to take his wife to the hospital. However, by the time she reached there, because there was no proper road, she died on the way. Now, a lot of people would have said, "Mera kya jata hai? Maine to jo khona tha, wo kho diya already. You know, why should I bother about the rest of the world?" But this man, Dashrath, took just a chisel and a hammer, and it took him 22 years to carve out a road in that mountain so that other people don't face the same fate. They don't end up in the same destiny. What made him stand out? Why did he go that one step beyond even after losing his wife? What is it that differentiates people like Dashrath Maji from a lot of other people? Would somebody like to add what quality is it? And I'm sure some of us have faced such situations and some of us have lived up to the situation. What is it that makes those people stand out or us different? Would anyone like to share, please? Yes? I don't have any responses coming in. Okay, somebody's talking. Can we switch on the mic for them? I can't hear you as yet. Okay. Jatin, are you there?
Tell me.
I think somebody wants to say or share something. Can we just give them the control of the mic for a little while so that we can have responses?
I believe the ones with the raised hands.
Yes, yes. So please raise your hand, and I think
They can even
somebody,
unmute themselves if they want.
I think Vijay Pal would like to say something. Yes, Mr. Vijay, please go ahead. No? Okay. Okay, fine. So I think what differentiates such people is their passion, you know, and their need to do something. So here I would say the next step of releasing those cows, and once you've released those cows, start thinking for yourself now, what are the cows that are holding you back? Which cows have you tied in your backyard? What are those voices within you? Which are those cows? And what's obstructing your path? What is that orbit word? So 3 things that I've shared till now. Please keep writing these down, because some of these things don't come immediately. When you think upon it, when you ponder upon it, when you go into a flashback mode, you look at certain things that happened with you in the past, the way somebody reacted, the way somebody said something, which were the trigger points, which were the turning points, you will start putting the dots and joining the dots together. Be an aptismus. Aptus in Latin is to fit in. But why fit in when you can stand out? So be an aptismus is be inborn. So understand your natural talent, your natural potential, but be ready to stand out. And there are 4 steps of standing out. Be different. Be different. Find what are your values, what are your add-ons, what are those things that you are good at, which you enjoy doing. Be interesting. Follow some hobby, because people say, and bade buzurg keh ke gaye hain, have a backup plan, So just as in today's situation, had we had a hobby, and I'm seeing a lot of people out there on the internet, they had a corporate job, they had something, they've chucked it up, or today they've lost their jobs, but they had a backup plan, and online they're conducting sessions of art, or maybe some kind of videos that they're making and they're putting up out there and they're getting views. Be interesting. Find something else to do. Don't just devote yourself to that 9 to 6 job. Be charming. Be mannerful. And the difference between charming and beautiful or handsome is that you are very amiable for others. There is this magnet in you which people get pulled to you, not attracted in a physical way, but attracted in an inert way. They get attracted to you because of your intelligence, because of your being different, because of your interesting hobbies. And the last, be valiant. Valiant in the sense, be courageous. Be courageous to stand out in the crowd where you could be the odd one and people single you out as the odd one, but aap date raho. Koi kuch bhi bole, but aap date raho. Now there's a flip side to this. One is that even if you feel uncomfortable, because you're the odd one, you still stand still and firm. But the other side to the same coin is that, let's say you've become one of everyone. It's time for you to move on and find a crowd where you will again be the odd one. Because that is what will bring out your true self, your true potential. There is this very famous quote of a very famous professional life coach who says that you are the sum of an average of the 5 people that you interact with on a daily basis. And I'll repeat this. You are the sum of an average of 5 people that you are interacting with on a daily basis. Please check those 5 people who you've included in your inner circle. And this does not include your parents, your partner, or your children if you're a family person. It means the second circle. Is it time for you to change that circle and move on if that average is a low average, right? And so now we come to be you and be yourself. And again, the animation buff that I am, the cartoon freak that I am, I keep finding these messages in these beautiful movies. And here's one more for y'all.
Unless you had an army of your
Can
own.
everyone see and hear? Okay, let me just stop share, and I'm going to share it again with slightly raised volume. Yeah. Okay.
You? Not just me.
Us.
All of us.
What did you just say?
We can do this?
No.
We can learn Kung Fu?
After that?
We can be just like you?
Yes!
We can?
No! You can't! But you don't have to be! That's what Shifu meant. I don't have to turn you into me. I have to turn you into you!
Good. Try it with this. Now try it with these.
You guys, your real strength comes from being the best you can be. So who are you? What are you good at? What do you love? What makes you, you?
Yes. Good. Good. Again. Good. Again. Good. Good. Again. You will teach us.
What? I can't teach you Kung Fu. I couldn't even teach Tigress. And she already knows Kung Fu.
Po, I know I'm the last guy you want to trust right now. But you gotta believe me. We can do this. We can learn Kung Fu. We can be just like you. Good. Now try it with these.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. Oh, thanks, Dads.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna do something I never thought I'd be able to do. I'm gonna teach Kung Fu.
Faster! Swirl those ribbons! Hug that log, you! Hug that log like it's the last time you're ever gonna hug it. Goodbye forever. Higher! And a little more to the left this time. You can do it! I don't want to see any of these hit the ground.
Okay. So, another very beautiful movie, and I think several messages out there. And the single message that it is just be yourself, right? There's nothing else but being yourself, finding your true potential, and moving on. So, getting into the growth zone, you know, we're sometimes living in just the survival zone. And the survival zone is there are no positive emotions on a day-to-day basis, and there is no future vision. Some of us sometimes, on some days, on some occasions, are in the avoidance zone. That is too much involvement in being happy. What gives me happiness? what will give me instant gratification, but there is again no longer term vision in it. So then we are, आज का दिन बस निकाल लें, किसी तरह बस आज निकल जाए, right? Therefore, we are happy with just small pleasures of today, you know. Anxiety zone is we're too overwhelmed with the future. So not living in the past, not living in the future, and not being in the survival zone, how do we get into the growth zone? The growth zone is when you are in the present moment. You accept what is happening around you. You accept and know yourself. You understand your true potential, and you're ready to do away with those cows tied in your backyard. You're ready to let go of all those voices, maybe retain some of those just to guide you, but ultimately the decision is going to be yours. That's when you move into the growth zone. And this is something just because sometimes we're often only living in the future. आगे चल के मैं ये करूंगा तो I'll be happy. When I do this, I will be happy. When I buy this, I will be happy. When my children are able to do this, I will be happy. Stop imagining the future. And therefore, to now summarize, your blueprint is stop those voices, identify your orbit of life, start making your own choices by knowing yourself and understanding your true potential. Be bold and be different and tap into that potential, but keep innovating. And then therefore, this is a cycle. So once you know your potential and you've become a pro at it, it's time to move on and find a newer group. And every time you challenge your learnings, your knowledge, your skills, and you're able to deal with your emotions, that's when you're forcing yourself to get into the growth zone, right? And here, I'd just like to share one more story of somebody who I am very, very inspired by. And this is somebody we all have heard about and we know, Indra Nui, who last year stepped down from chairmanship of PepsiCo. And as a child, she says that her mother, because she grew up in a very orthodox South Indian family, when she and her sister and her uncle's daughter, so 3 girls, they were in the ages of 8 to 12. Her mother used to always at the dinner table give an assignment to these girls and say, what if you were a prime minister? What if you were the governor of your state? What if you were the chairman of the society? What if you were the principal of your school? What if you became the president of the country? She says we were expected to write a different speech every day and role play. And it didn't end just by writing the speech. It ended with presenting that speech. And she says, we grew up thinking sky is the limit. We grew up believing we could be anybody. And she proved it. A small activity that done at the right age changes the mindset, gives you an insight into your own potential, gets rid of all those negative thoughts and those voices, because now you're only hearing and believing your own voice. And I think that's such a brilliant story that has inspired me forever. And it's one of my favorite stories that I keep sharing every time with everybody. And with that, I end today's session and I throw open for an open forum any questions, any thoughts, any experiences that anyone would like to share. Please. Do we have anyone who would like to share something? Okay, how to overcome your negative belief about oneself. Okay, so negative belief, again, I think you would have to look back at what has brought about that belief, right, Jennifer? Where does that belief come from? What is the incident, experience, something you heard, something that happened in your childhood? What is it that has triggered this negative? You'll have to work backwards to understand where did this negative belief stem from. It must have started as a seed somewhere, and today it's a full grown plant. You will have to travel back in time, Jennifer, and understand where did you sow the seed of that negativity, or who sowed it for you, and then you can work over it. And if you have any issues, I would love to help you. I do take one-on-one coachings, and I do help people, handhold people through building their own roadmap and working over these. Most welcome. Some negative vibes in the present and future. Yes, absolutely. We always are fighting to overcome negativities. And I think the people who are easily able to do it are the ones who are most successful, because who doesn't have challenges in their life? Who doesn't come across obstacles? Who hasn't had uh, bad things happening? You know, we all have gone through ups and downs, and more downs sometimes in our lives. But every time you overcome this, it is a success for you. It is moving into the growth zone. So every time you move into a growth zone, give yourself a pat on your back. Don't undermine yourself. Don't de-evaluate yourself. Nobody else understands you except you. So be a little generous with yourself. You know, stand in front of the mirror and say, you did well. You've overcome and you will overcome further. Keep saying that to yourself. Thank you, Jigna. Yes, hope there's something you carried away, and thank you for being part of today's session. I need to join in. Yeah, not at all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Suresh ji, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, Suresh. Very interesting, wonderful presentation videos. Yes. So I think people have said that I love telling stories, and yes, I am a storyteller. And I find stories in other people's lives, actually. That's become my passion now. I think we learn from others the best. And if we get inspired from others, that works for us, so be it. You never know what inspires you. It could be a video, it could be an ad, it could be something you overheard in the train, in the bus, at the airport while you were waiting. Some trigger. Be open and be ready to pick up that trigger and activate upon it. Don't let that trigger fizzle out. Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you for your compliments, and I hope you all have something to think back upon, and trust that you will be able to overcome some little thing that may have been stopping you from being who you are, or being the total self that you are. It's only we who can help ourselves, nobody else. After a certain time, parents be brothers, sisters, partners, nobody. It's self-help is the best help, I think. You're welcome, Sureshji. My pleasure. Welcome, Dilip. Thank you for joining in. I know everyone is having a plate full, coping up with the situation, their work front, their personal, being at home, and still you all take up time. Appreciate that, and really grateful to each and every one of you. Okay, wonderful. And hopefully we'll meet again somewhere, sometime soon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Global Association of Corporate Services for bringing these sessions and creating this platform. Shivam, you're most welcome. Gaurav, always there, buddy. We can always reach out. Vaishali, thank you for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaya.
Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much, Jayaji. It is indeed an eye-opening session for all of us, and thank you so much for pulling out time. We
Not
look
at all.
forward to
My
have
pleasure.
such interesting sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. God be with everyone.